What's up, guys? Welcome back to the A&H Podcast, Bahrain's first and only business and marketing show, with your host Husaini and your co-host
Abeer Husaini.
All right, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different today.
Sure.
I think to give more of an inspirational journey and a story, and a lot of people that we meet, they're at different stages in their business life, right? And so a lot of times it's like they might not understand the struggle behind it and just dive right into the deep end, okay? So today, I want to start by talking about your life.
Okay,
and the business journey, okay? So we both studied business management with marketing. What made you think or want to get into business in the first place? And at what stage, what made that transition possible?
well, after graduation,
Yeah,
the first job I got was actually in retail in a fashion store.
yeah,
And that was the best time of my life. Literally, I had fun and I enjoyed it. After this, the actual job or the career started coming in, and I entered into the financial industry. And as nice as it seems from the outside, being in the inside wasn't that much fun for me. Obviously, it's challenging, it's fast, you need to always be there, we work long hours and all of that, but this was not the problem. The day I decided to resign, the reason on my resignation letter was one that nobody had heard of. And it literally just said, I am bored of counting other people's money.
okay,
And when my boss actually looked at that resignation letter, so before he looked at the letter, he was trying to convince me that, no, you should stay, we have a lot lined up for you and you can actually make it. And all of this, why are you leaving? You shouldn't leave.
yeah,
The minute he opened the letter and he saw, I am bored of counting other people's money, that's when he said, okay, I'm accepting your resignation, but can we go out for a coffee?
yeah,
I'm like, okay, fine. And then we actually went out for a coffee and he was like, I can't stop you from your dreams. If this is what you have in mind, then I can't be the person who say, no, stay and continue your career in the financial industry. And he actually gave me lots of tips on how to start a business because, yes, we were in the financial industry, but the boss actually owned his own firm. And that was it, basically. I was really bored from the routine, bored from just sitting there and counting other people's money. If they're making that much, why shouldn't I take the share of it?
Yeah.
Why should I be the person sitting on their seat, advising them on how to make money when I'm watching them make it?
yeah,
And that was the first, thought that came into mind.
yeah. Okay, amazing. And this was at a very young age, right?
Yeah.
It was 25
Five?
or something like that. So we just took that jump. We both had quit our jobs at that time.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting thing that, because I always say, never look at the end result, look at the journey. You know what I mean? So a lot of people just like to look at the end result and be like, wow, that was amazing. Do you remember what it was like running that first business? And by the way, just so you guys, in case you guys don't know, that first business was an e-commerce based product that we had made, Splash Pack, which was waterproof cases for phones, cameras, and things like that. So this was an online-only business.
Yeah.
And that is actually where our initial digital journey began. What was it like kicking off that
obviously,
business?
you're talking about 2008.
Something like that.
2008, when the online marketing was not developed that much. Launching a website at that time is a completely different game than launching a website or an app today.
Yeah.
All the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, whatever ads were not there yet.
For the younger guys watching, in 2008, there was no Facebook publicly. It just started coming out.
We had High Five.
There was a Twitter, which no one was even knew how to use it. Well, no one used it on a marketing sense anyway, right?
No.
It
was all personal.
It was all personal. So we didn't have the social networking phenomenon during those days.
And Google ads were there, but they were very early on. They were very basic, very, just pay per click. And it wasn't that advanced like you have it today.
Yeah.
So obviously we started the online business, and once it was launched, first you had to go through the whole hassle of patenting the product, testing the product, because although it's an online business, it's a waterproof case for an electronic device that costs a lot. So you don't want to put an electronic device into that pouch unless you are 100 million% sure it's not going to leak. So we had a bathtub filled of water, and the only way to test those cases was to put a tissue inside and then close it and then put it into that bathtub, which is filled with water. If any of them leaked water, then this is out of the question. This is a faulty product. And if they didn't, then they're good to be sold.
And guys, there were 30,000 of these products, right? So one of the biggest mistakes, right, which looking back now, okay, don't over purchase stock unless you know you're going to get rid of it. Now, like anyone else, I know like how when people are starting their business journey today, right, the first thing they do is in their minds are like counting the millions that they're going to get from this business. I'm going to buy this big house and I'm going to get this nice car because it's a sure thing. Amateur mistake, guys. Like, you learn these things along the way. And this is what we want to share, like sort of experiences that we learned along the way.
But you should be fair as well. We didn't give that business so much time for it to mature into buying you the house and the car and everything. Now, for a person who just entered the business world, obviously they don't know the ins and outs of how businesses make money. This is the first mistake anybody does.
Yeah.
So they think by launching this website, that's it. Like million of sales are going to come through and you're going to be sorted for life. And I only need 1%, 2% of this whole
of the
population.
market.
So how hard can it be?
Yeah.
But if nobody knows about your product, nobody's going to buy your product.
Yeah.
And then you're missing out on actual sales in stores. Yeah, the online business was just starting back then. So it wasn't, famous as much as today. People were not used to buying things online. Although in the West they were more than here, but still it wasn't the game or the quality that's into today. So you needed to mix and match. You needed to launch those products in an actual store for people to get to know them, touch them, feel them, in order for your online sales to escalate.
Yeah.
And we did that. Actually, like I had a backpack. I did two things. Although, it was an online business, but obviously it's Australia, it's Sydney. Everybody is used to the beach culture. So on the weekend, the beaches are packed with people. So what I used to do is get the products on a backpack and just...
And printed flyers.
I didn't take the flyers.
I
didn't.
I used to take these flyers and put them on people's boats and stuff.
Yeah, but not when you're actually talking to people on the beach. What I did was actually just take the products and show it to them and ask them how they feel about it, whether they wanted one or not. And if they did, then obviously I'll give them the website address and they can buy it from there. So once people started linking the real thing with the online business, here is where we actually got sales. And then it was based on referral. So one guy will get it and then his friend will get it and so on and so forth. And obviously deliveries back then where you get in your car and you deliver the package.
or to the post office.
Or to the post office, it's really far.
Yeah.
But when you see the address, New South Wales, and you think, oh my God, it's really close, and let me deliver it. And then you end up halfway through the mountains, not knowing how to get back. That's not something to do. And then, number two, there were few stores or retail stores were not as huge as like 20 or 30 stores. It was
independently owned.
Exactly, but they had like 3-4 branches. Trying to sell to those were much easier than trying to get to the big boys. So I actually started doing that, going and talking to the owner. Wasn't successful in the first time, second time, third time. I got the guy, and he actually was interested in the product, and he made a small order. So if you continue the rhythm, you will actually get there to the car and to the house or whatever you had in mind. But we had a different situation back then. We had to sell everything and then come back. So we cut the journey of that business very short.
Yeah. By the way, guys, a couple of lessons that I learned on that, right, was, first of all, how to make a website. Because we actually paid, because we're like, this is an e-commerce business. We want the best web agency in town. And we paid like $7,000 for this website. And if you think about it, in those days, nothing was open source. They locked the whole website. We couldn't change or edit anything. So that's actually why I started to learn programming, because I deleted the $7,000 website and then redeveloped it myself. That is how what got into the web design or, business later on, right? And the second thing was, it was Google Ads that really drove the business at that time. So when I was experimenting with Google Ads, I realized, hey, every time I put in $100, I'd get out $200-300.
Yeah.
So then you just continuously do that. And then the next thing was like, okay, like you said, B2B sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is where the whole sales graft came in. Because, when you're younger, you have this anxiety about
Rejection,
right?
What he says no. What if they shut the phone on my face?
Exactly. So you're scared to pick up that phone to get rejected, and that's why you call less people. But that's not your fault. That's your mom's fault, okay? Because she brought you up saying you're amazing and you're a superstar, and then when people actually reject you in real world, it's an underlying psychology, by the way. Because we're brought up like to be told we're the best.
Our generation, we're not brought up to be the best.
No, but still, like, your parents are so supportive of you. They're like, you're the smartest, you're the best, you can't make a mistake. And then when you go out there in the real world, you're getting rejected and you're not used to that. I really believe it's a deep underlying psychology that you've been pampered too much, that you don't like rejection.
Nobody likes rejection in any type or phase of their life. But when you disassociate rejection as a person and rejection as a sales guy, because you're not adding value, then you're actually differentiating between the two. So if somebody says, I don't freaking need your pouches, it doesn't mean that you are of less value. It means that they really don't need your pouches. End of story. So it's fine to be rejected.
I've been thinking about this a lot. The way you're brought up, right?
That's my point.
To be told you're amazing, and then when you go out there in the real world,
and personality is different. So once you get rejected for a business deal, it doesn't mean that you're of a less value.
I'm not even talking about just business. I'm talking about anything in life.
Anything when you come out, rejection.
Right? Because you're brought up to be told you're the best.
No,
and then when you're not,
even if you're the crappiest person, which nobody is the crappiest person, but even if you are the crappiest person and you know that you're the crappiest person, you don't want to be rejected. I want to be accepted by the crappiest people out there. You know what I mean? We live to be accepted. So you can't say it's your mom's fault or your upbringing fault. No, it's not. Nobody likes to be rejected. But you need to play mind games with yourself.
Well, if your parents told you you're not that smart, then you would have worked harder on yourself and accepted reality. And if you're brought up was told you're Superman.
And then you're on the corner of a road somewhere thinking, oh my God, the whole world rejected me. I am a dumbass. I don't know how to do anything. They won't even do anything.
It's an interesting topic, though, okay? But that is a mindset topic, okay? And here's the thing. The other thing was that I'll never forget is we went to Paddy's markets, and this is like today, today when you've got these like events, today they have these like makeshift events and stuff. You get a stall, right? So we rent this stall, right?
In an actual market.
In a massive market, right? No one's buying the product in the beginning. They like it. They didn't like the price, right? It's a Friday market or a Saturday market, whatever it was. So then you start shouting like splashbacks, get your splashbacks, like a proper market style. And
and everybody around us got annoyed. That woman that's selling the handbags.
Yeah. But we were grabbing the attention, right? So here's the thing. What's interesting about that business, it taught me so much, like in terms of online marketing, building websites, B2B marketing, doing phone sales, going to the market. And by the way, we were really ahead of our times, right? So what we had in the house, because it's a home-based business, as people say today, right? Because over there you don't need an office.
No, you don't.
We had a fish tank.
Yeah.
And we put a real phone in the fish tank.
Yeah. And a camera.
And on the web, and a camera.
A
live cam on the website. Said, here's the live cam, call this number and see your phone number ring to prove that it is
working.
So that was quite a cool marketing campaign, way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what, when you're in business, right, you have to sort of learn a bit of everything. You know what I mean? Don't expect, I made that mistake as well. Like everyone else I meet today makes, you know what I mean, when you're younger. They're like, okay, well, I've got 30,000 units. Okay. If I make $10 per unit, right, that's 300,000. Now let me divide that by 30 days in the month. So, okay, I only need to sell 10 a day, right? And you think that's pretty easy. And really, keep in mind, we didn't have all that social media marketing in those days, right? But they're unrealistic expectations. You know what I mean? Until maybe you've got an amazing product and it just hits.
Look.
Maybe, but you have to drive it.
No. By the way, at that time, it was the first business. Did we even have a strategy? We didn't.
No, there was no
Our
strategy.
strategies were all talking to each other. And you remember half the conversation, the other half is just lost in translation.
Yeah.
When you don't have a strategy, whether you're a startup or not, you're going to fail.
100%.
So it's not about whether you're going to meet those expectations. You can actually meet those expectations. 10 products per day for an actual business is not much.
Yeah.
But once you don't have a strategy and you're just going day by day, although you're ticking all the boxes, but you're doing them on a slower pace.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking as you go.
Yeah.
You don't have it ready and then you're just literally one, tack, and finishing them.
Exactly.
And that's the difference between launching a successful business and launching a duck of a business, which is like walking really slow.
By the way, it's because I see this all the time, okay? You're absolutely right. You need to have your marketing plan and your business plan pre-developed.
Before launching.
So you know exactly what you're doing on any given day.
And you can tweak as you go, because reality might be a little bit different from what you have on. Exactly.
You have to adapt. And that way you can avoid being disappointed. Because the problem is, you see, so if we're looking at most businesses today, right? Startups and stuff. What happens is they're so excited. They're like, I'm making millions. Like I said, this is the initial thought in their mind. Then they launch and then there's no traction. And then they think, fuck.
No. It's not that. Everybody thinks the minute they launch any business, it's automatically going to make money.
Yeah.
Reality is it will make you money if you work in the right process.
Yes.
Majority of people miss that.
Yes.
They think the minute I'm going to open the door, I'm going to have a queue of people waiting for my product. So the problem is the minute people start opening a business or the door of the business opens, they think there's a queue of people waiting to buy their products. Or the minute they launch a website, oh my God, I'm going to get 20, 30, 40, 50 sales per day.
Yeah.
They don't know that they have to work in order to get those sales done and sealed and signed on. And that's the difference. And they have reality.
Yes.
And then they have dream.
Yes. And this is exactly why I wanted to bring up this point, right? It's not that your idea is not good.
No,
right?
It's not.
But I want to manage expectations here. Meaning, if you get disappointed for some reason,
something is wrong.
Evaluate what you're doing.
Exactly. Fix it. This is a sign that's telling you there is something wrong in the way you're doing your business, the way you're carrying on whatever. It's not a strategy, but carrying on your day. So you need to actually tweak, fix, and relaunch the business idea, the website, whatever it is.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, because I see this all the time, you give up when you shouldn't give up. You put all the effort in the beginning because you're not dealing with any hard work, in terms of stress and rejection, like we talked about, right? So you're not probably willing to pick up that phone, to go to the streets and sell that stuff. And you're sitting back hoping people are just going to come to you. Well, that just doesn't happen. And if you find yourself in that position, my recommendation is obviously you've got to evaluate two things, right? Do you have what it takes to drive your business forward as one thing?
Yeah.
Because I honestly believe not everyone can.
No, not everybody can.
You can't handle that stress.
No.
You can't handle that.
Or if you have enough money, bring a team that can handle it better than you. If you don't have this or that, please stay in your job. Don't quit.
Exactly. Yeah, and the third thing is, right, this is why I think it's very important that you find yourself in these situations, right, where everything's not going as planned. Go sort out expertise help.
Exactly.
Just have a conversation with someone.
If you have the money, get somebody who's better than you to do the job.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, you need to build your personality in order to handle your business. If you can't do this or that, please do not quit your day job. I have an example of a guy who used to be a senior manager at a company. But because he was so used to the idea that people will do my work for me, and he thought, I'm managing 200 people in this company, how hard is it to launch my business?
Yeah.
And he launched a really small restaurant. He couldn't handle the pressure.
It's a lot.
He could not handle the pressure.
Because he doesn't have that
although
assistance
I
and
actually
help.
gave warnings, running a business has nothing to do with your expertise in a company or in a job or whatever. It's a completely different game. If you had pressure of your role in a company with a 200 team behind you to help, it's again not the same pressure as of handling your own business. The stress level is different. The thinking level is different. The challenges that will come your way is different. It's a completely different game. And people don't think of it this way. They think about the money and they don't want to do the task.
Because they're seeing the result, not the process. That's what I was saying.
Anything in life, that's why I always say, anything in life that has value, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's a bag, whether it's a car, you need to actually pay for it. So in order to get a very high-end product, you are paying a lot to get that quality.
Yeah.
And if you want the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, you need to actually walk the paths of an entrepreneur. It's not an easy path. You can't get millions for doing nothing.
Absolutely. And look, I think the problem today is that entrepreneurship, hustle, these are all buzzwords that everyone's seeing all over social media. And so everyone's thinking, fuck, I want to do that. That looks really cool. Now, I just want to say that unless you're willing to properly grind, give up your weekends, give up your luxuries, give up your holidays, okay, get a lot of stress in your life and have less time with your family and friends, then it's something you need to evaluate, especially in the beginning.
At that point, I actually have bypassed it now because I have so much experience in the business life. I have a work-life balance. Initially, when you're launching the business,
there's no work-life balance.
No, there isn't work-life balance. But after you
pass
a certain point, you can have that.
When you have systems in place.
When you have systems in place, or you have the mindset in place, and that's a completely different subject. A lot of people go into the business world without the mindset of an entrepreneur, and they don't know what it is. And they will find that I'm doing a lot of hard work, getting zero results or very little results. And once they learn that first it starts with a mindset, then starts with the work, combined both of them, and you have a winning formula, then they will start seeing results. But, you always, as an entrepreneur, as an advisor, as a consultant, always think about how to do or launch the business.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the mindset of an entrepreneur.
Well, we always say that it's the why versus the how. And that all comes down to the mindset, which is a whole different topic.
No, but you need to combine both.
I'm saying, but this is a mindset's a whole different topic that we'll get into in more detail. I just want to say, because I get messages about home businesses and things like that. So I'm sort of visualizing where they are with where we were with Splash Bike, let's say, right? Where you're working from home, but you have a website. So technically, yes, it's an e-commerce business, but it's also a home business. So guys, there's no magic formula. I'm just going to put some pictures of my products on Instagram and then it's going to sell. And then you're going to complain that, I'm not getting any sales. No. You got to grind. You got to do your marketing, get out there, take it to the shops, take it to people, send messages every day to influencers in your field. So if you're doing a skincare product, as someone was asking, well, then send these messages to a lot of these beauty, women, whatever influencers. Say, hey, can I send you some of these products? Can you just review them for me?
Now
Get free marketing.
Also, in supermarkets, you can actually rent shelves, which this gives you.
But they're expensive.
If you want to launch it properly.
I'm talking about home business that maybe doesn't have the budget for that, right? I'm talking about someone who's on a shoestring budget.
And how much it is. A shoestring budget, then forget the supermarket. Bypass that.
Exactly. So on a shoestring budget.
But there are markets.
There are markets. Go to the markets, go to your family and friends, sell it to them, ask them to sell it to someone else. Message people, send it for free, get samples,
to influencers
get
with
reviews.
A really nice package, and before and after pictures, and ask them to review it for you. Reviews.
And please, guys, please, everyone's a photographer these days. You don't need to have crappy pictures on your Instagram. You know what I mean? This is your products.
Yeah.
So ask someone, even for free or even on a shoestring budget, they'll do it. There's a lot of students who do it
for cheap, and they're really talented, by the way.
Get some professional photos done of your products, right? So. Okay, guys, this was just a very basic onto the struggle and the hustle. And by the way, there's a whole journey after that. I just want to say that wherever you are right now, things will always escalate and get better as long as you're willing to put that work in. And
if you're not, stay where you are. Don't even bother.
Stay in your job. All right, guys, till the next time, subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff, and we'll see you later.
See ya.